Hi guys. So I'm having to do the video again because for some reason when I uploaded to YouTube the audio wasn't working. So we're going to go through this one more time, okay? So today we're going to be working on Christmas ornaments. We're going to be working on two different ones. We have the regular ones. I don't like that one. The regular Christmas ornament just with the topper, and then we're going to be doing the hanging ornaments. So what you're needing for this class is you're needing your cake in a Ziploc bag for easy cleanup and easy storage afterwards. You need Rokum to paint the gold in. You will be needing vodka, 75% alcohol, or, I'm sorry, this is Everclear, or you can use vodka or you can use lemon extract. For the sprinkling of your cake pops, you can use pearlized sanding sugar or sugar crystals. You can use sanding sugar, or you can use disco dust. I will be using disco dust and the sugar crystals. You don't have to use disco dust. I know disco dust is considered non-toxic, non-edible. Disco dust is made out of mica, which is the same coating that your capsules are coated in, the ones you take on a daily basis. So if you don't feel comfortable using it, you don't have to use it. My chocolate is guittard chocolate. That's what I use. You are more than welcome to use Merkins, Make and Mold. What is the other one? Ghirardelli. If your chocolate is too thick and you're needing to thin out, please use Paramount crystals. Don't use oil or shortening. If you use oil and shortening, it changes the consistency and the flavor of your chocolate, and you run the risk of it not solidifying, your chocolate not drying hard enough, or your chocolate not drying at all. So Paramount crystals is the way to go. We are going to need a candy bracelet or a candy necklace for the topper of your cake pop. And for the hanging one, you're going to need a straw. I prefer plastic. To me, it's food safe. A skewer or your anything that you can use to help you feed the ribbon through the candy loop. What else do we need? Scissors and ribbon. I think that's it. And the scoop of your preference for your cake pops. So let's get started. After your cake has been baked, you cover it. You tin foil it and you let it sit for a little bit. Once it's come to room temperature, you toss it in a Ziploc bag. I use a freezer Ziploc bag, gallon Ziploc bag. That way, whatever I have left over, I can just toss it in the freezer if I'm not going to use it. So once it's in here, all you do is you start mashing it, bringing it together. Once you are able to mash it and it stays, it keeps the shape, it means we're good to go. Now, I don't know if you noticed, I didn't add any frosting to this cake. No frosting whatsoever. We're going to be making 4 cake pops right now. I'm going to be making for you. Remember, you always also have the video on Periscope that you can go back and watch. If you have any questions, feel free to message me. So there's 1. 2. This scoop is probably about 1.5 teaspoons. It's about an inch deep. And it's got the silicone bottom. That way I can just pop them right out. Oh, I forgot to tell you, we need cake pop sticks and a stand. Okay, so we're just going to roll them. Everybody knows how to roll cake balls. If you don't, remember I have the Thursday class, the basic class to cake pops. That's only $9. You still have time for that one. And if you don't sign up in time for the live, you always have the pre-recorded link. Okay, so there's my cake ball. Hold on, I don't like it. It's not round enough. Okay, there you go. Actually, I'm just going to do 3 of them for you guys. I'm going to do 1 disco dust, 1 sanding sugar, and 1 crystals. Okay? If your cake does not come together, go ahead and add frosting, but only add a tablespoon at a time. Just until it comes together. Don't overdo it because then your cake pops will fall off of the stick. They'll be too wet. The way you know that you added too much icing to them is when you roll them, your hands are covered in grease. Almost forgot to tell you. So I use these, the pearlized sanding sugar in the gold color, but I don't like the gold color. It's too dull for my taste. So what I do is I put them in a little bag, and I add a little bit of Rokum, and I give it a good shake. Actually, to these ones, what I did is I pulled the little foil lining that comes in here, the protector, and I just tossed it in my bag with my sprinkles, and I shook it around, and it gave me really nice sprinkles. I'll show you that in a minute. You can see all the Rokum flying around. Okay, so this is what they look like after they've been coated in the Rokum. Let me see. Hopefully we're good for dipping. We're going to dip all 3, and then we'll come back and add the sanding sugar or the sprinkles, whatever we're going to add. Because if you dip and then add your sprinkles, the chocolate hasn't had enough time to set. It'll just start sliding right off of your cake pop, and we don't want that. Try to dip your cake pops. I know a lot of people say that they chill their cake pops before they dip them. I don't chill them. Mine are at room temperature, and then I melt my chocolate, and then I start getting everything ready. And by the time that I'm done rolling and having everything set up, my chocolate is as close as it can be to room temperature or to the temperature of my cake pops. Because if you dip cold cake pops into hot chocolate, they're going to crack. And the reason they crack is because when your cake pops are coming down to room temperature, they release gases. And the gases break through your chocolate in order to escape. So if you dip everything at pretty much the same temperature, we won't have that issue. And I'm using guittard chocolate. For some reason here in Texas, it doesn't melt smoothly, so I have to add Paramount crystals to mine. Not too many, but I do have to add it. I don't like that lip. I dip the third one. Hopefully Hopefully I didn't take too long and my house isn't too cold and my chocolate's solidified already. Okay. So I'm going to start with my sprinkles because that's what I already have out. Okay, so there's that one. This is the sugar crystals with the little extra rokum to get it nice and gold. Okay, and now we're going to do oh, that one dried too fast for me. I'm going to do disco dust. This disco dust is a combination of 10 karat gold and American gold. I love it. It's sparkly. Sparkly. And I'm going to dip this one. It's going to be a little bigger than the other ones, but I'll just re-roll it. When your house is like 60 degrees, you got to work fast. We're Eskimos over here. We love the cold. There we go. Shake out all the peaks, little lines that you get. I think it still has too much chocolate on it. Okay. I'm going to sit for a little bit, just so it sets and it's not sliding off. Maybe we're good. Maybe. I'm going to pour this in here because it was clumping up on me. When you're going to use standing sugar doesn't cover very well, or at least to my liking. So let's say you're dipping it, you're doing this red standing sugar. I would dip it in red chocolate just to make sure we get that even coating. And I had someone ask if you can add disco dust to your sanding sugar. Yeah, you can add disco dust to your sanding sugar. But just make sure you let your customers know. Remember, if they have any type of stomach issues, Crohn's, diverticulitis, pileups, anything like that, they're not supposed to be having disco dust because it will cause them to have a flare-up. And we don't want that. Okay, so that's what it looks like with disco dust. I'm sorry, with sanding sugar. So it's really up to you, whatever you want to do. Okay, so we're going to now add our toppers. Here's my candy. The color, I know some of you said you didn't know if the color mattered. The color doesn't matter because these are going to end up being colored anyway. We're going to color them in with our Rokum and Everclear paint, okay? So let's start with our red semi-sugar one. For you to remove the stick, don't just yank it out. We're gonna twist and pull. Because if you just yank it, you're gonna tend to break the chocolate around it. Semi-sugar all over my hand. Okay, with the stick, opposite side, you're going to get some chocolate. We're going to add it right in the middle where the little hole is at. And then you add your candy. Make sure you got a good amount of chocolate so the candy will hold. And then on top of that, we're going to fill in the little hole again. The candy, the hole in the candy. You can add a little extra just to be on the safe side. And then you take the other candy and you stand it on top. And that's what it looks like. Okay? And then we let it sit for it to dry. It should be dry in no time. Now, the one for the, let's do that one again. Let's do a regular corner one. It's dry. Twist and pull, remember? We're gonna add some chocolate right in the middle. Be generous. We wanna make sure candy sticks. Push your candy right on it. Add more chocolate to the top. It doesn't matter if it comes out the edges, we're going to paint it gold anyway. And then add your other little piece of candy. Got it? Okay, that's going to sit to dry. Now, I'm going to show you how to do the hanging ones. When I first started doing, the hanging ornaments, I remember I told you I've been doing these for about 4 years. When I first started making them, I made my way to the dollar store and I bought a whole bunch of the mini cake pops and I just popped the tops off of them. That's what they look like. I popped the tops off. And I gave them a good washing. I would dip my cake pops, swirl them off the stick onto the mat, and then I would shove this in there, and I would thread my ribbon through it. And that worked for me. But then we live and we learn everything has to be food safe if it's going to go in our mouth. So, after a lot of research, or try and error, it's not research, trial and error, we came up with putting it in a straw. First we would take our ribbon like this and we dip it in chocolate and we let it sit and harden, and then we shove it into the cake pop. But for some reason it always ended up coming out. And then we put it in a straw, filled the straw with chocolate, let it sit, and then we cut the straw off and shoved that little thing in the cake pop. And same thing, kept coming out. So then we just decided we were going to leave it in there in the straw, and that seemed to work. So you cut your ribbon, And then we're going to tie a knot. It works if you have skinny fingers. I have fat fingers, and I always have trouble tying small ribbons. Bring your knot down and make it as tight as possible, because that way your knot kind of thins out. Okay. So then I'm just going to cut off my excess because we don't need it. I'm going to cut a piece of the straw. Doesn't matter what size it is, just make sure it's not longer than your cake pop. We don't want it to go all the way through. Oops. So there's my knot. There's my straw. So I push it in. Push and twist. Push and twist. And I think it's too big. Push and twist. Yeah, I think it's too big. Let me try this other one. See, that's why I tell you, you have to make your knot really, really tight. There we go. Push and twist. And if you get to where it doesn't want to go in anymore, then that's where you pull out your little handy dandy stick. And it'll help you push it in. But if your little knot is tied, it's tight enough, you won't need it. It'll just go right in. There we go. So it's in, and I just pull it back a little bit, not too much. Okay, just a little bit, just to give me something to play with. And then I take one of my candies. And I put it in. Same thing, just push and twist, and your candy feeds right through it. Got it? You see that? Straw, candy, ribbon. Ribbon goes through both of them. See it? Okay. So, these will probably be a good idea to have done ahead of time. We're going to do, here, one of these. I'll do it on a white one. Remember, twist and pull. Got it? Same thing with your stick. You're going to add chocolate on the inside. And then you're going to shove that. If I find the hole. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to shove it in the hole. That's what it looks like. I'm just going to clean off some of the chocolate around. Okay, now we're going to let that sit. Then here I have my Rokum and Everclear paint ready to go. Make sure it's kind of thick, not too runny. Because if it's too runny, it won't work. So these are the ones we did earlier. Right now, those are dry already. I'm just gonna paint it. Make sure you paint the inside of your candy, because if not, you can see the color. Oops, I kind of went too far, but that's what it looks like. see it? Now the other one. No, it's ready. There you go. That one's ready. This one's just the chocolate. I just did little white polka dots. I mean, the little gold polka dots. But there you go. That's what they look like. That's what you have. You have a hanging one. And then you have a other hanging one. This one hangs too. So you decide what you want to do. If you have any questions, feel free to message me. Facebook or Instagram. I'll be more than happy to help you guys. Thank you for watching. Bye.